so today's video is going to be my back to school tutorial. This is more of a like, you know, casual school glam slay per se. I also want to include this on my intro because I feel like it's important. So please understand that you don't need to put makeup on to go anywhere. But since we're talking about school, you don't need to put makeup on to go to school or anywhere. You don't need to put makeup on to be beautiful and feel beautiful. But if you do feel beautiful with makeup on, then by all means, beat that face. Because I just want to make sure that people understand that, you know, being beautiful doesn't mean putting makeup on or having makeup on, you know? So don't feel like you have to do all of this to go anywhere, but especially in school, like don't feel pressured about anything. Do whatever you like better, you know, make your own unique style, and that's the most important thing at all times. So I just want to make that clear before we start with anything. So I also want to point out that every single product in this video is either $10 or less. Yes. So stick around, there are some awesome recommendations, and please don't forget to subscribe to my channel. So without any more rambling, let's get started. Alright, so to make sure your makeup stays on all day long, you will want to start by applying a primer. Primers are very specific. If you have dry skin, you will want to look for a hydrating primer. If you have oily skin, you will want to look for a mattifying primer. And if you have some fine lines or whatnot, you know, a little bit of texture or even like zits or whatnot, you will want to look for a primer like this one. This is the e.l.f. Mineral Infused Primer. And this kind of like fills in your pores and your lines and your imperfections and makes it like very smooth, and it has like that silky consistency. So I really like this one from the drugstore. So this is a personal preference, but I prefer full coverage. If you like a lighter coverage, you can use a BB cream or a CC cream or like a tinted moisturizer. So I'm gonna go into my Milani Conceal and Perfect 2-in-1 foundation, and this is one of my all-time favorite foundations. The coverage is amazing. It's completely full coverage, but it doesn't clog my pores and break me out. So to apply that, I'm gonna be using my Real Techniques sponge. You can also go with a second layer of this foundation on your under eyes and just, you know, blend it in very well and set it right away, and that works perfectly. It really is a conceal and perfect as it claims, because it really does work as a concealer. The blemish I had here with just one layer of it just kind of like vanished. So highly recommend this foundation. For concealer and highlight, I'm going to be using my Maybelline Fit Me concealer and also my Maybelline Instant Age Rewind. These two together work amazing. Your eye and a little bit on the center of the face, just on top of it. To quickly set my under eyes and my entire face, I'm going to be doing a mixture. Sorry, I'm being a little extra, but I'm going to be doing a mixture of the Maybelline Fit Me, and this is in the shade 120. And I'm going to be using a Rimmel Stay Matte press powder for my T-zone. And the brush that I'm going to be using is the e.l.f. Small Taper Brush. I love this brush. So good for the under eyes. So now that we're set and ready to go, I'm going to move on to brows. And I literally have this routine on my ultimate brow tutorial video. I will link that down below for you because I kind of want to skip through this a little bit so this video doesn't take 1,000 years. I'm going to just do my brows off camera, and I will link that video down below so you can really see more in depth how I do my brows, and I'll be right back. Alright, brows are on and popping. So the only thing I cheated about my brows is that I had to use Anastasia Beverly Hills Clear Brow Gel because I don't have any brow gel from the drugstore, and I have to set my brows, otherwise they don't look as neat in the way I like them to look. So that was it. That was the only thing I used, none drugstore. I also forgot to mention that I use a little bit of the concealer, the Fit Me concealer, to carve out the bottom of my brows. And so that's why you see a little bit here, but I'm going to use an eye primer. And one of my favorites is the e.l.f. Mineral Eyeshadow Primer. And I love this because it has a little bit of a tint to it. So it kind of covers a little bit of, you know, if you have veins or dark circles on your eyelids. But it's kind of like a very thin consistency, but it dries down to a very like nice and matte eye primer. So I really love it. I promise you this is not a sponsor video whatsoever. I just have a lot of e.l.f. products and I really do enjoy them. And they really are like by far the most affordable drugstore products, hands down, except for Wet n Wild. They do have really affordable stuff too. But anyway, this is not sponsored by e.l.f., I promise you. So for my eyes, I'm going to be using two palettes. And the reason why I'm using two palettes is that this one right here, this is the Matte for Matte palette. And I highly recommend this palette. And I think it's about $10. And it has like a really nice range of shades. Maybe like one or two of these shades are a little chalkier than I would like. But overall, it's an amazing palette. The reason why I'm using two is because this is all matte and I want to add a little bit of shimmer to it. So I'm going to be going in with the Prism eyeshadow palette. And these are all shimmery and they are very beautiful and very pigmented. They also make awesome highlighters. You know, I am always using my eyeshadows as highlighters. But they have a very nice range of, you know, shimmer, deeper, you know, brighter colors. So this would be cool if you wanted something to multitask. I highly recommend this palette as well. And it's not so chunky. It's just very beautiful and buttery and shimmery. So I really like this. So I'm going to start by grabbing this shade right here. And I'm going to focus this on my crease, kind of like as a transition shade. And for that, I'm going to be using my e.l.f. crease brush. So now I'm going to pick up the e.l.f. blending brush and there's no product in it. And I'm just going to get rid of the harsh lines and kind of like blend and smooth everything out. So now using the Prism eyeshadow palette, I'm going to go in with probably this one right here, which is a nice little rose gold shadow. I love this shadow. So I'm going to first apply with my fingers and then I'm going to use a brush to kind of smooth everything out. So now right in the center, just for like a even more of a pop of shimmer, I'm going to go in with the lightest shade right here and just focus this on the very right in the middle of my eyelid. So then once again, I'm going to run this crease brush just very lightly, just make sure everything is nice and blended. No additional product, no additional shadow. So now I'm going to curl my lashes and I'm going to apply mascara, and I'm not going to be applying false lashes today. So I'm going to use two different mascaras. I know everything is two, but it's just because I need some help with my lashes. I don't have long, luscious lashes, so they need a little help. So first I'm going to be applying this one, and this is the Maybelline Lash Discovery, and this is such an old mascara, meaning like it's been around forever. But the wand is the tiniest little wand and I really like it. So if you have baby lashes like me, this is for you. And then after that, I'm going to be layering with the L'Oreal Voluminous mascara. Mine rubbed off because I've had this for a while. But this is such a nice and a very dark mascara. So it makes your lashes really nice and dark, and you know, they just appear more like voluminous, like the name says. So I'm going to be curling my lashes and then applying these guys right here. So for the lower lash line, I'm going to go back with that same shade from the Matte for Matte palette, this one right here. And I'm gonna use the same crease brush, and I'm gonna just quickly run that on my lash line, but just mainly on the outer lash line. So I'm gonna pop this on my lower lash line, and this is the Scandal Eyes from Rimmel, and this is in a shade Nude. So just to brighten up and open up the eyes a little bit more. I'm gonna go back with this mascara and just coat my bottom lashes. So for my inner corner highlights, I'm gonna go back on my Prism eyeshadow, and I'm gonna be mixing these two right here, just to try to get like a different kind of shade than we have going on all around. And I'm gonna be using my BH Cosmetics pencil brush. Now moving on to the face, I'm gonna be using this NYC bronzing powder, and this is in the shade, what's the shade? Sunny. This is a really good drugstore bronzer. It's not too warm or orangey or anything like that, and it's a matte bronzer, which is, I think it's pretty cool. And I'm gonna be using this big old fluffy e.l.f. brush that I have no clue what it is because they don't have names anymore. That's the only thing I don't like about the newer brushes, that the older ones, they would say e.l.f. and they would say what they were before, right underneath, like crease brush or whatever. And the newer ones, they are nice and improved, but they don't say the name of the brush. But I will find the name and put it down below. But this is just like a big fluffy, brush, so I thought it would be good to apply my bronzer. And I'm gonna stop rambling. So for blush, I'm gonna be using another e.l.f. palette, and this is the blush palette, and it's such a beautiful and affordable palette. There's a reason why everybody talks about this. I believe they have two different shades. This is the light one. They are just awesome. They are pigmented, and these palettes, I have a few of them. These palettes, they pop out. You see those little squares on the back? They pop out so you can mix and match. So if you have, like, I have a contour palette here, right? If I'm going somewhere, I can mix and match. I can personalize my perfect palette so I don't have to take both with me. So this is what I love about it the most. And they are super affordable. I believe they're around $6 or something like that. So I highly recommend them. So now we're gonna move on to highlight. And this is probably on my top 5 favorite highlighters of all time. All time. And that's a bold statement right there. But this truly is such a good highlighter. I absolutely love it. So I'm going to be going with my e.l.f. Baked Blush in Pinktastic. I know this shade is always sold out, but it's for a reason because it's so, so, so good. So I'm going to use the blush brush to apply this, and I'm just going to swirl this all the way around and pick up lots of product because, and then I'm just going to apply it right here. Do you see that? Yes, that's why. It's amazing. I just like to go back with whatever sponge that we use and just kind of like dab it very lightly over the highlight, just so it's all like nice and smooth and blended. For my nose highlight, I'm going to use exactly the same, and I'm just going to go back with that pencil brush that I used before, and I'm going to pick up only like on the golden parts. I'm not going to swirl all around because I don't want it to have that little tint on my nose. So I'm going to do the very tip and then the bridge over here a little bit. Feel free to skip this if you don't like nose highlight, but I do. I'm going to be using the Milani Amore Matte liquid lip, and this is in the shade Adore. It's just a very nice pinky nude. So then to top it all off, I'm going to use the NYX Butter Gloss, and this is in the shade Creme Brulee, which is also one of my favorite glosses ever. And then to finish it all off, I'm going to be using the e.l.f. Mist and Set, which is an amazing setting spray if you have dry skin. And it also like helps get rid of all like the powdery looking stuff that we have going on. So I'm just going to give myself a few spritz. Alright guys, so that's the final look. I hope that you guys love it. This is obviously not like a 5-minute makeup kind of thing, and if you do want one of those looks, I have a no makeup video. I can link it down below. I just want to say that if you're having a hard time in school, I hope that you push through it, because I know it can be hard sometimes, and especially nowadays, I feel like kids are really, really mean, like even more than they used to be. And if you're bullied, please don't forget to tell someone. Do not suffer alone. Do not hold it in, those feelings, by yourself. Look for an aid, or talk to your parents or a friend or your brother or sister or anybody that you trust. Don't ever just like let that get to you, you know. People will talk crap about you no matter what. If you were a kid, if you're an adult, it just kind of never ends. So you have to really stay true to yourself and surround yourself with people that love you and support you and uplift you. And don't worry about those haters. That's what they are. They're haters. So just push through, work hard, do your work, focus whenever you have to focus, and also don't forget to have fun when you can have fun. So I think that's my best advice that I can give. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you like this video, if you found it helpful, and if you learned something new, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up, because it really helps my channel. I love you guys so much, and thank you for watching. So I asked you guys on my Snapchat what your favorite and least favorite thing was about being in school, or is about being in school. And before I open up your snaps, I'm going to tell you my favorite and my least favorite thing about school. So my favorite thing about being in school was probably the fact that I went to the same school from first grade until before I went to college. I never switched schools ever in my life. So I went to the same public school. I knew everybody. I knew the whole school back to back, and it was awesome. My least favorite thing about being in school was all like the bullying and like the mean kids, you know? Like when I was 13, I started modeling, and instead of being something like cool and like, oh look, she's a model, like that's so cool. It wasn't. Like, people made fun of me because I was a model. That I was like the only one who was like, oh, she's a model, like what a weirdo. You know, like people like to pick on whoever is like different, and that's kind of like, that's so sad. When you were young, you're kind of like, you don't want to feel like you're the only one at something, you know? I don't know, at least it was hard for me. So I had to work on that a little bit, but that was probably my least favorite part about being in school. And also math. I hate math. This is from Audrey.
I don't have anything I like about school, to be honest, except that I like to hang out with my friends during lunch. But that's it. School so much because in Vancouver, when school starts, the weather is like this.
Oh, lots of rain. She's so cute. So Easy sent me Easy's, I hope I'm saying your name correctly. I'm sorry if I'm not. So she said that favorite part, definitely seeing my friends every day. Least favorite part, I get so much homework for no reason. That's amazing. I love it. This is from our friend Carla. Carla, I love you and I miss you. Let's see.
My favorite part of school was being the class clown and goofing off with all my friends in recess. My least favorite part about school was having to use the restrooms. I would get anxiety.